I'm Katie McManus, business strategist and leadership coach, and I'm here today with Tyler Cook, my man from Hypermedia. Tyler, I'm so excited to have you today.
I am really excited to be here.
Did you like my hype up music?
I did. I was dancing along to it, to be honest. It's catchy.
Right? Yeah, I have a lot of fun with it. Anyway, we're here to talk about the magic of marketing, and you're my marketing guru. So I mean, when you think of marketing, what is the first thing that you want to start with?
Yeah, I mean, marketing really can be quite a nebulous concept, right? Like, what exactly is marketing? And so really, I think about marketing kind of in two ways. So one way is really just getting attention onto you, your offer, your business, whatever. So it's really that however you're getting attention. And then also with that is creating demand for your product and services.
Right.
Is typically how I generally just categorize marketing.
Oh, and we have Debbie Cook saying, looking good, Tyler. I imagine you guys are related.
That is my beautiful mother.
Hi, Debbie. Nice to meet you.
No embarrassing stories in the chats.
Can we have some baby pictures, please? Just like in the chat, please. I love that. It's I love that saying, like, you can't be a secret and a success at the same time.
Oh, so true. So true.
Right. But like it is, and I have this philosophy that small business owners don't have really a marketing problem. They have a memorability problem.
Yep.
Right. You have to be remembered for people to be able to buy from you.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And like, when I think about there's a lot of marketing gurus out there that teach very complicated systems and processes and all of those types of things. And when I'm thinking about a marketing campaign, it really can kind of be broken down into 3 steps. And you kind of nailed one of them is that memorable step, right? So step 1 is you have to have a really good offer. You have to have something to sell, right? Before you can do any sort of marketing campaign. So that's kind of step 1 is having a really good offer. Step 2 is getting attention on that offer, right? Becoming memorable, getting eyeballs on that stuff. And then step 3 is having some sort of catalyst to get people to purchase, right? Whether that's a sales call, emails, text messages, all of those things. Yeah, attention and memorability, that's a big one.
Yeah. So, you pointed to a couple things that kind of direct us into the topic for today is that, challenges, a way to get attention and a catalyst to get people to enter your world and potentially become a client.
Yep.
And if not become a client, at least get an experience of you so that they remember you and maybe want to be your client someday.
Yes. And like I said, for coaches, consultants, infopreneurs, in my opinion, challenges right now are the best way to do that.
Now, what makes you say that?
So there is so many promises that have been made.
I'm sorry. Nathan wants you to know that you're rocking the beard, my man.
Well,
you're getting a lot of appearance compliments. I'm feeling a little left out. No.
I work hard to maintain this. Yes. As a good friend calls it, the flavor saver.
Flavor saver.
Yeah, that could be good or bad, but
so funny. I'm sorry, I completely interrupted you.
No, you're totally good. Totally good.
Back to what makes challenges really, really helpful for infopreneurs, coaches, consultants.
Yeah. So, when you look at the marketplace, you're scrolling through Facebook, you're scrolling through Instagram. There's so many ads out there now that's like, purchase my course and you're going to solve all of the world's problems. And the claims have to get bigger and better, right? All the time, because all of these infopreneurs are kind of competing against each other, even though they may not have the same topics, right? They're still kind of competing against each other to get that attention. Right?
Oh, I'm in the business coaching space, obviously. And there are so many business coaches out there that are like, get you to 7 figures. I'll get you to 7 figures. And it's like most businesses shouldn't be at 7 figures.
Right. And sometimes those claims don't work because you're like, I'm trying to get from like $2,000 a month to $6,000 a month, right? Like Get me there first.
Mm-hmm.
And so, every day you get those. I mean, I get hammered with them.
Yeah.
And what the challenge is that it's all of those claims become less and less believable, right?
Yeah.
And so how do you kind of like combat that? How do you approach this from an opposite way? And that's why I love challenges, because basically a challenge kind of flips that model on the head. Is it says it instead of saying, hey, purchase my course where I'm going to get you to 7 figures in 8 weeks or whatever, the challenge really goes, let me get you a small win in like 5 days.
Yeah.
And then if you get that win, then I'm going to tell you about how I can get you to 7 figures. Right. Or, whatever your actual offer is. But it kind of flips that on its head, right? To where now you're offering value, right? The whole nebulous also saying of just provide value. You're actually helping somebody get a solid result.
Right.
Which builds your credibility, builds your trust, right? With that prospect in a fairly short amount of time. And so it takes that purchase because you think I can get you some results to, hey, you should purchase because I actually helped you get this small win, right? Yeah. How cool is that? That totally changes the conversation.
Yeah. Well, what I'm hearing you say is like you're creating trust, you're creating community, and you're creating that connection. Whereas like going on social media and just like shouting out like, here's some helpful advice. It's kind of like that weird old man that sits on a bench in the park, and like any young mother who comes up, he's like, do you have a leaky faucet at home? Because here's how you should fix it. And it's like, that's useful information. I don't really need it right now.
Right. Yes, creepy old man. Thank you.
We have a great question in the chat from Nick Chief. How do you do that with no marketing budget? What is the most uncomplicated or easy suggestion?
To like run a challenge, just a little clarification about that. Like, how do you market with no marketing budget?
Nick, if you're here and you're willing to clarify your question, let's go with that. Yes. And then if it's something different, then Nick, please clarify, because I think this is useful for many people.
Yeah. Good question. So without a marketing budget, I mean, there's a couple of avenues that you can pursue. And one of the reasons, I mean, so there's a lot of reasons why I really love challenges right now. One of the many, many reasons is challenges are somewhat like inherently shareable and kind of exciting, right? And so if you don't have a marketing budget or you have a very small marketing budget, okay, perfect. So yeah, we're headed down the right way. A couple ways to advertise these, include it in your email signature. Right, it's an easy offer to include in your email signature. Join my 5-day challenge. Right, it's also an easy offer to go out to other people who speak to your audience, right, and say, hey, let's partner up on this. I'm doing a 5-day challenge, and you can work out whatever you want. I'll give you a split of the back end profits, or I'll share all of the leads back with you. Like there's a lot of ways that you can do that, but it's an easy offer to go to other people and kind of get in front of their audiences, because they're like, oh yeah, my audience does struggle with this. So yeah, I'd be willing to help you advertise.
Yeah.
Right. So those are a couple of big ones that I've leveraged quite heavily in the past. Also, if you have an email list, send that out as an offer to your email list, most definitely. Advertise it on LinkedIn, right? Yeah. So just recently, I wrapped up a challenge with one of my clients. Her audience is not going to be on Facebook. She targets very high executive women in Australia. And so we primarily did everything through LinkedIn. We had 21 days of social media posts.
Yep.
And we were able to get about 40 people in her challenge just from LinkedIn. So consistent posting there.
Do you mind me asking how many like followers, connections she had, or do you not know?
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head. It's a good question. You want me to look it up real fast?
Yeah. Do you mind? I love snooping. I don't want to out this person, but I want to.
Yeah, I didn't get permission to like.
Who is it? Tell me all the details. Yeah. What does she do? No.
Okay, so.
And if you're just joining us, we're doing a little LinkedIn snooping because I had a question about how many followers someone had because they did a challenge and it was really successful. And I want to give everyone like as many details of like, what level of success you can accomplish here. But also you said that her ideal client was like very successful executive women in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So a small population of people.
Yeah, very, very specific type of people.
Right.
And demographically and also geographically, right?
Right.
And she's gotten a lot of her leads historically from LinkedIn. So she's invested a lot of time on LinkedIn. So she's got about, LinkedIn was reporting just over 7,000 followers.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we got 47,000 followers and 40 people may not sound amazing, but this was also a paid challenge. So we actually charged $97 for it because of her audience. And so that's pretty solid for no marketing budget. So that's
seriously,
if you don't have any marketing budget, figure out where your audience is spending attention, start posting there consistently about it. Yeah. And if your challenge is like, if the topic is exciting to them, they're going to join.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it has to, so I'm hearing it has to solve a very specific problem that people have.
Yeah. What I say your challenge, you should design a challenge that gives somebody the smallest big win you can. Right. That you want the challenge to be short, 3, 5, 7 days. And you want it to solve a very, very specific challenge. And so that's why I say solve a small, big win for them.
Right. So like if it's a weight loss challenge, it's like, we're going to have you drink enough water that will support you losing weight.
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay.
Yeah. Another challenge that I did kind of in that same vein with the health and wellness is we did a 5-day healthy habits challenge. So each day we introduced a new habit to help people build a good, solid morning routine. And that was like day 1 was drink 16 ounces of water after waking up. Right.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Andrea. So Andrea wants to know, what are the most exciting topics you recommend? And I actually have a question for Andrea is, what industry are you in? Because it's going to depend a lot on who your ideal client is and what kind of things you do for them. But like, Tyler, do you have an off the cuff answer to that of the best topics?
The best topics are the ones that your audience cares about.
Right.
No, so there's actually a pretty good strategy that you want to think about when you're thinking about the topic. So when I'm working one-on-one with a client, one of the things that we do is we look at client milestones, right? Okay, so life and business coaching. Okay, perfect. So Andrea, hopefully I'm saying that correctly.
Andrea or Andrea? I vote Andrea. You say Andrea. Andrea, just tell us who's right. But continue, Tyler. Sorry.
The first thing to do some coaching here for you real quick, the first thing that you want to do is you want to think about your offer and you want to think about the milestones that people progress through, right? So typically that's going to be 3 to 5 stages, right? Where the first stage, they're kind of almost too new to probably work with you. They're probably not a good fit for you right there.
We're both right. I love that. I love being right.
I love it. And then stage 5 is they essentially don't necessarily need you anymore. You've gotten them all of the results that you can, right?
Yeah.
And so where I find the best challenge topics exist is right at the tail end of stage 1 and right at the beginning of stage 2. That means that they've progressed far enough in their journey that they're like, oh crap, like there's a long way to go before I get to stage 5.
Yeah.
And I probably need some help and I don't know how to get there. And so that's typically what I have clients sit down and figure out is we figure out what those milestones are. And then we categorize, okay, what does stage 1 look like? What does stage 2 look like? And how do they progress between those? And then we dial in, okay, here's the small big win here. And then we launch that challenge.
Right. It's funny. You're describing the steps of competency. Have we ever talked about this before?
I don't know if you and I have talked
Okay,
about that.
I'm gonna draw something. Hold on. Oh, I'm out of paper, so I'm gonna draw on the cardboard. Okay. It's going to be very artistic, Tyler. You're going to be so blown away by my talent. Okay. So these are the steps.
Okay.
So the first step is unconscious incompetence. So you have no idea what, like, that you don't even know something. You're completely unaware of it. And then you kind of like learn enough to realize that there's stuff you don't know. That's the second step. And the third step is conscious competence. So it's like you have to try really hard to do it well or to do it at all. And then unconscious competence. So like driving a car. So when you're a baby, you just kind of like get transported around. You have no idea. But then you're a kid and you kind of realize that mom and dad know how to drive the car and you don't know how to drive the car. There's like stuff involved and you have no idea. And then you get your driver's permit and you kind of like have to try really hard. And then all of a sudden you're in your 30s and you don't even remember getting behind the wheel to drive to the grocery store.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
So you're trying to get people just as they like realize the stuff that they're incompetent at.
Yes. That's like the sweet spot. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Realizing that there's that gap.
Yep.
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 Yeah. And then Carol has a comment. So there's so many challenges out there, it becomes noisy.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Had an aha moment. I love that. That's perfect. Thank you. And you're not wrong. There are a lot of challenges out there, right?
Yeah.
Now, the good part for you is a lot of challenges that are done not well. And so while it's noisy, it doesn't actually take that much work to make your challenge kind of stand out against all of the rest of the noise.
Right.
Which is really awesome.
Mm-hmm. So, and I imagine part of that is just having a really engaged audience.
Yeah, having an engaged audience, and then also really thinking about kind of that topic that you do want that challenge on, right? Yeah. Really thinking about that pain point, because so from my experience, how a lot of people will come up with challenges is more along the lines of this. Well, I always get asked this question, so I'm going to design a challenge around this question, which isn't necessarily bad, but the reason why I don't kind of approach challenges from that point of view is because that only solves like one piece of a larger challenge for that person, if that makes sense.
Right.
And it doesn't that question may or may not be directly related to what you actually are going to be selling them.
Yeah.
Right. Versus if you sit down and you're like, okay, clients progress through stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
And I want to get challenged right as soon as they're entering stage 2. Here's what they look like. And you design a challenge around that. Guess what? Well, the people who are coming into your challenge are going to be interested in the service.
Right. It's like I'm running a challenge and you're actually helping me with it. And I'm super excited. It's my very first one. Social to Sales. If you're interested in this, please register. I'll share the link later. But anyway, like if I were to share a challenge, it's like how to train your orangutan. It would be interesting. I'd have to learn how to train orangutans first, but like it's not useful to any of my clients. I don't work with orangutan trainers.
Okay, can you reveal some real data about your challenge? Is that okay?
No, please. No, I'm very open. Yeah.
Okay, so some back conversations, because we've been talking about running a challenge for probably 3 months at this point, right?
No, we've been talking about running a challenge for like 8 months, and I keep chickening out because there's so many steps to do it well. Like there's just a lot of steps to do it well, and like I'm a perfectionist, and the thing that holds me back the most is like, well, I want to do it perfectly. And I don't know if anyone in the audience can relate to that.
Well, it's also nerve-wracking too, because you have me saying, you want the client to see a result in 5 days. Right?
I know, the pressure is on.
The pressure is on, Okay, so we've been talking about this for months, and we've actually gone through like 4 or 5 different topics.
I know.
Before we finally settled on social to sales, right? So to give the audience some backstory here. The first one that we talked about was a 5-day challenge around sales calls.
Yeah.
and how to design your sales call. And we kind of move forward with that. And then we're eventually like, but this is kind of like too far down the process, right?
Yeah.
If somebody's already getting sales calls, they don't necessarily need a challenge around that. So then another topic was no distractions. Yeah. You remember that? That was like one of the more recent ones that we talked about is doing a challenge around, let's see, what was it? The 5 things you need to do every week or something like that to grow your business.
Yeah, the 3 things. Yeah. And it's actually folded into social to sales, but it's like, it's a small piece of like what people need to start doing to be successful.
Right. And so we kind of walked it back just a little bit. And then what we really focused on was using social media to get sales calls, right? To actually get people to reach out to it. Because at that point, what we realized was like, okay, for your ideal clients, they're kind of at the point where they've got somewhat of a stable business, and now they need to kind of grow that. And oftentimes they don't have a huge marketing budget. And so the default is you have to build a very engaged audience through social media.
Right.
And so that's kind of the process that we went through to get here, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, like they've done really successful things. Like they know how to reach out for referrals, you know, they give like complimentary sessions and like they network really well. But there's nothing that they know how to do that isn't like really active on their part. It requires like a lot of activity for them to go and hustle and get those clients. And it's just a lot of work.
Yes.
When posting on social media, like, okay, like it is work, but it's not that much work. Yeah. You're not collecting business cards at the BNI meeting and then calling through everyone and like meeting everyone for coffee. Like, I don't know. I don't know about you. If I have more than 3 cups of coffee a day, I break out. I can't do it.
Nice. I love it. No, I mean, social media is very powerful right now too, because the way that I think about it with my marketing background and advertising background is I had a client a little while ago who had a very, very limited marketing budget. And so over the course of 3 months, we spent about 1,500 ads. So in advertising, like that's not a lot of money. And we generated about 15,000 page views to her offer, right? Versus, and that took like 3 months to get there, right? She did 8 Instagram reels and got 15,000 page views in 7 days, right? So it's like, go where the attention is, right? Because it's sort of free, right? It takes a little bit of your time. Yeah. Yes. LOL. 100. But that just gives you kind of a frame of reference of if you don't have a huge marketing budget, invest that time and energy into organic social, because you're gonna kind of make up those page views for free.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really, I mean, you know, 5 minutes over coffee, you write up, you copy and paste some of the copy from your email for your challenge.
Yep.
And you write a post and here's what's going to help you with. And if you want to register, the link is in the comments for LinkedIn.
Yep.
Yeah. So simple.
It's so simple. And if you're interested in running a challenge and also taking some content, building some content, if you have a client who you can use as a case study, one of the best things to do as well is reverse engineer their case study. So just pull out one win for that client and say, hey, this person, I was able to help this person get this result. Here's kind of a step or some random insight into how we helped them get there.
Yeah.
Did you know that I'm running a challenge about this, kind of to like get you on the right journey? Well, join here, right? That's how I use that. That was the process that I used for a webinar that I did a while back about challenges. And I had tons of people sign up from social media by doing that.
Yeah.
Here's a result from a challenge that I ran for a client. Here's kind of how we got it. If you want to learn how, join me for this webinar. Here's the link. And I did that solely on LinkedIn myself. And I think I had like 100-ish, give or take, people sign up for a webinar just by doing that.
Yeah. Well, and here's what I love about challenges, and this is how you sold me on it, is that like if you're a small business owner, it's not like you're looking for, 300 new clients. You can't handle that.
Right.
Especially if you're in this like infopreneur space, as you call it. I love that term. But like 3 clients is awesome. And if you can do like 3 clients every 2 months, especially if you're charging a lot for your offer, like that's incredible for your business. That's game changing for a lot of new business owners.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I could talk about challenges for a long time because I've thought a lot about the whole process, right? One of the other things that I really love about challenges is it's just a very good offer. Like when you think about white papers or ebooks or lead magnets, or not lead magnets, like PDF downloads.
Yeah.
I always kind of get the feeling that people are like, I'm doing this because I see other people doing it, but I don't necessarily like, I'm not like me personally as the person who's providing this resource. Like, I don't even love it. So like, but I'm to do this because people told me to, right?
Right.
Versus if you ran a challenge for 5 days and you had, let's say 10 people join the first time, and because some people get busy, some people don't finish the challenge or whatever, but you had 7 people actually finish the challenge and get a good result. Like how much more excited and bought in are you to that challenge to where you're like, oh my gosh, this actually works. Like, this is amazing. I got to tell everybody that you get excited to share it. Right. And then just because you're excited, other people are like, oh yeah, like I can do that. Like here's my email, I'll do it.
Yeah. Well, what I love about this is like, it's so active for people to be in challenges. You made that great point about lead magnets. The way I see lead magnets is like, it's like a bookmark. I'll download someone's lead magnet just because I want to remember who they are. And I know that if I do that, I'll get added to their email list and they'll remind me who they are.
Right.
Whereas the challenge is like, no, like this solves a problem that I want right now. I'm going to opt into this. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be present at least for a few days.
Yeah.
And get more of an experience of this person.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question then on the reverse side, as thinking about that, you just signed up for somebody's challenge, right? When you see their name in your inbox, do you pay attention to it or no?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So you start actively looking for their content.
Oh, yeah.
How often do you remember, like they're not necessarily like, just randomly, but when you're like doing things throughout the day that are somewhat related to the challenge topics, like how well do you remember that brand?
Oh, so well.
Yeah. Which goes back to what we were talking about before, right?
Yeah.
Creating that memorable brand.
Yeah. Well, like a great example is, I'm on Instagram a lot. I really like Instagram, and Instagram has figured out the type of clothing that I like to wear, or at least the type of clothing that I like to pretend to shop for. I put it in the cart and I never buy it. But anyway, so I'll go on and I'll give them my phone number or my email so I can stay in touch. And sometimes I get them and I'm like, I don't even remember what this brand is. Like, obviously it's a little more difficult with clothing brands. They could run a challenge. I don't know. I mean, they actually could. That might be an interesting sell for them. but it would be so much more memorable if they were like, cool, like let's go through your closet and see what's missing.
Yeah.
What staples do you want? I would remember them so much better from that.
So you bring up such a good point. So for service-based businesses, typically a good challenge is going to be, helping somebody see some sort of result that you offer.
Right.
For a product-based company that wants to do a challenge, generally what I suggest is doing a challenge around an action or something like that related to the product. So, I mean, your use case is perfect. If you have a clothing brand, hey, we're going to up-level your wardrobe in 5 days with this challenge. You don't even have to purchase like our clothes. We're just going to help you up-level. An e-commerce client of mine has a red light therapy device that you can put on your knee, and it helps decrease your pain and your inflammation in your knees.
Yeah.
And then your joints.
Interesting.
Yeah, super awesome. It's like amazing. This company is going to be like $100 million company. I'm super excited about it. But so right now we're actually working on a knee pain challenge. So it's going to be a 5-day challenge where we're working with a couple of high-level physiotherapists that work with like the MLB. And they're putting together a 5-day challenge, these videos where you just do this exercise each day for 5 days, and it'll help reduce your knee pain. right?
That's
But
amazing.
has nothing necessarily to do with the product, right? But we're going to use that to bring interested people into their list.
Yeah.
We'll educate them a little bit, and then we'll say, hey, we have a product that kind of helps solve this as well. How about you go purchase?
Right. Which, I mean, like, I'm not signing up for that. I don't have knee pain, knock on wood. But Barry Bonds might. He had a knee replacement surgery.
Yep. High intensity athletes, boomers.
Yep. Literally, my Aunt Anne's just had knee replacement a few months ago, and then while my computer's gonna die. While my Aunt Vic was helping her get ready or recover, she realized that her hip was going, so she literally just had hip replacement surgery. It's a bionic family. but yes. I love that idea for something that's a product. So it's not just for service-based businesses, it's also for products.
Yep.
Yeah, I was honestly just making that up for the clothing brand, but I like that idea. I should pitch it to them.
You should pitch it to them.
Yeah, they'll make me more fashionable. Except for my, outside of my dog park gear. Anyway, so we're coming up, we're over the half hour, but Tyler, you're running a pop-up training webinar on how to run a challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's going to be in a couple of weeks to give me enough time to advertise it for myself, right? Mm-hmm. But really what we're going to be talking about with that is I've got a case study. So one of the clients that I worked with, actually the Healthy Habits Challenge client that I mentioned a little bit earlier, she gave me permission to basically reveal all. And so that's going to kind of give some high level education about how to structure a challenge, how to think about the challenge, why challenges convert so highly. And then I'm also going to show you exactly how we designed that challenge, what each page looked like. She even gave me permission to share her emails, which is crazy. So you can see the exact emails that we sent out. And she, outside of specific revenue data, she let me basically pull all of the metrics for her, so you can see the conversion rate between the opt-in page and the thank you page. You can see how well each email converted and things like that. So she agreed to reveal a ton of back-end information for us. And so join me on that webinar. Katie threw in the link to register because you'll get a ton of information about how to run a challenge, how to think about a challenge. You'll get some resources so that you can launch one on your own. And then I'll also, I'll deliver those resources there for that. And like I said, it's the best way to grow right now. So I'm like, join, Yeah,
absolutely. And if you want to see, so literally everything that Tyler's going through in this webinar, like I have gone through it. It's a lot of writing, but it's actually pretty simple, to put together in a challenge. So like, if you're curious about my challenge and you want to see, at least the landing page and see how it goes, like just click on the link there. But Tyler, this is like such a gift to people. Because really, like, I mean, getting clients is the biggest hurdle that any new business owner has.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Especially when you don't have a marketing budget, so you can't really invest in help. And there are a lot of charlatans out there trying to sell you stuff that, isn't verified. And I apologize. My dog has a toy and she's like making a ton of noise in the background.
You're totally good. You're totally good. And the other thing too that I found is how do you stop giving away your consultations for free, right? Yes. How do you have those sales calls with people that are actually interested in purchasing, right? And a challenge is a great way to do that because they've already shown that they're willing to put in some work. They're already qualified by kind of going through the challenge. And so those people typically convert really highly because they kind of qualify themselves by going through the challenge.
Yeah.
And so it's an easy way to stop just hopping on the phone call with every random person that's like, I would love to hop on a consultation with you. And then you spend, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. Yeah. And then you're like, let me think about it.
Yeah. Or they're trying to sell you something.
Yeah. Yes.
I love to hear what you're up to. I'd love to hear more about your work. And then you're all excited and you're like, this is a sales call. This is a sales call. Gotta like prep. And then they're like, have you heard about my product?
Yes. 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 A challenge is such a great way to weed all of those people out.
Yep.
So yeah, join the webinar because you'll learn a lot.
And what are the dates for the webinar?
What are the dates? Oh, good question. I don't know. What are the things? Let me double check that.
When is this happening, Tyler?
Yes, the 24th.
The 24th. Okay, amazing.
Yes, Tuesday the 24th.
Okay, fabulous. So you heard it here first. Register for the webinar on how to do challenges with Tyler Cook. Yes. The link is in the chat. And I think it's only going to the Facebook pages and to YouTube. So I'll be going into the LinkedIn comment section and adding them after the fact. Cool. Tyler, final words of wisdom for our audience.
Be kind.
Be kind. I love that.
Okay, so I guess two pieces of words of wisdom. One, time will be, it's kind of a crappy time, to be honest. Noon Arizona time. I think that's going to be like 3 o'clock Eastern time. But it's the only time that fit in my schedule that day.
He's a busy man, people.
So it's kind of a crappy time, but it'll be good. We'll still have a good time. Final words of wisdom. First, because I know your challenge content like intimately, if anybody here needs to learn how to use social media effectively to actually get clients, like no questions asked, just go sign up for and that link should be in the comments too, right? So
it is. Thank you for the plug.
Katie is awesome. Like, to be honest, I mean, I stole some of that content. I did. I was like, oh, this is like free consulting for me. This is awesome. So go sign up for Katie's challenge, and then really attention, right? Yeah. If you're having problems with marketing, it's usually because you're not going to the right place. So if you're having challenges with marketing, think about your ideal client. Where are they going and where are they spending attention, and just start showing up there. Yeah. Show up there consistently and you'll start winning.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice to run a business where like all your ideal clients just hung out in Cabo?
Yeah.
We need to figure out that business.
Yes.
Cabo, the south of France, Italy. Like, who are these people? We need to figure out a business.
And what do they need help with? Let's think about this.
I know. They need someone to like rub the sunscreen on like the part of their back that they can't reach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll do that. We'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's funny is, so every year for Thanksgiving, we actually go down to Mexico. It's our little family tradition. We go with another family, and then it's awesome. And one of our favorite things to do is they sell mangoes for like $5 each one. So it's kind of expensive, but like they put like lime juice on it and like some Cajun sauce or whatever. They're like the greatest mangoes ever. But this last year we went down and they were like, there's no mangoes this year. So for the first 2 days, there weren't any mangoes and everybody was like devastated. And then on Wednesday, there were mangoes, right? And I was like, wow, that is such a good, kind of positioning there. Maybe I'll move down to Mexico, start buying up a lot of mangoes. I'll hire a
mango guy
on Monday and Tuesday to run down the beach and say, there's no mangoes. We had a shortage this year. And then go through the beach on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday selling mangoes. Like, you just create scarcity, right? Like, how awesome would that be?
It's so funny. I didn't realize that was a yearly occurrence for you guys, because I think during the pandemic, you and I were talking about Thanksgiving, and I was like, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? And you were like, oh, my wife and kids and I are going to go to, Costco and go to the taco truck.
Yes.
I was like, that's such a weird thing to do.
Costco bought their little taco thing, which is awesome, by the way. No affiliation. Like I don't get any kickback for that, but those little taco things are amazing. So yeah, that's what we need for dinner.
I know. Well, you said it, and like I just was like, well, that's weird. I didn't realize there was a tradition that you guys are trying to.
Oh yeah. It's because this tradition that we always go down to Mexico. So we wake up Thanksgiving Day. We're like,
Mexico, you went to Costco.
Weird craving for tacos, like is it Pablo's dogs, right? Like we've trained ourselves on Thanksgiving. We're having tacos. It's weird if we don't.
That's hysterical. Oh my God. Okay, so you're hosting a retreat around Thanksgiving in Cabo or somewhere in Mexico. Everyone's going after they're super successful in all the challenges that they learn how to do in your webinar.
Yes, and then just know that there won't be any mangoes at the beginning, but there may be mangoes later.
Yeah, just hold out hope. The mangoes are coming.
The mangoes are coming.
Have mango faith.
Yes.
Tyler, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Any other final words you want to leave, or is that it? Is that the bulk of what we're getting tonight?
That's the bulk. I can't reveal everything. I got to leave something. I got to leave some secrets, right? So then people are like, I got to join this webinar.
I know. People are like, it's not live. It's fine. I have the whole plan. It's all good.
Yeah. I only gave you like 1/10 of what you need to know to pull off a challenge. So
right.
If that scares you, join the webinar.
There are 9 other parts. You're going to get them there. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for doing this. This is so much fun. I've had a blast. I am hearing from everyone in our audience that they're also having a blast. Michael Jesse, mangoes and chili is a popular snack. Oh yeah. Okay. I think everyone wants mangoes now. So Michael, Bridge, Andrea, Carol, Nick, Harish, who else did I miss? Nathan, Debbie Cook, Tyler's mom. Thank you all for joining us. I hope you found this super useful. I'm Katie McManus, business strategist and leadership coach. This is Tyler Cook, owner and like marketing man extraordinaire for Hypermedia. I can't say it. Hypermedia marketing. Thank you for joining us tonight, and I hope you have found this super useful.
Yeah, this was fun. Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah, we should. All right. See you all later. Bye.